I'm Patricia Way, and I was diagnosed in May of 2012 with right-side breast cancer. I found my lump in March of 2012 while I was in the shower, simply washing. I wasn't looking for anything, and I found the lump. I immediately called my doctor and arranged to have an ultrasound done. The first ultrasound they did, because I was breastfeeding at the time, they misdiagnosed me. I went back for a second ultrasound, and again, they misdiagnosed me. I fought with my doctor to have a biopsy done because I knew there was something wrong. It had just gotten bigger. When they did the biopsy on May 16th, it was a Wednesday. I got the call Monday morning when I was at work to come into the doctor's office that afternoon. I picked up my daughter from daycare that afternoon and went to the doctor's. I sat there and the nurse came out and said the doctor had to leave to go for an emergency to pick up her daughter. So I sat there for almost an hour and 45 minutes. I went into the doctor's office and sat there for another 20 minutes before she came into the room. And she just said, "Patsy, I'm sorry." And I just lost it. After my diagnosis, I went to see the surgeon, and then she referred me right to Dr. Levesque. And from there, I had my first chemo treatment on June 9th. I spent the summer going through chemo treatments, one every 3 weeks. I finished my chemo September 24th. They had started me on chemo first because of the fact that my tumor was so big. They wanted to shrink it before they attempted surgery. About 2 weeks into the treatments, I developed an abscess that started bleeding into itself. So they had to put a drain in to remove the abscess fluid, and my radiation treatments were put on hold for 2 weeks. Once I started back up, I had 29 treatments altogether, every day, 5 days a week. I finished my last one on February 24th, and I'm better now. I saw the doctors in July and had some follow-up tests, and they don't have any concerns whatsoever. When I saw the first surgeon, and I discussed with her my feelings of wanting to have a double mastectomy, she said absolutely not. I wasn't at a place in my life where I could make that decision. She thought I was acting under duress. I had a referral to a second surgeon, and her opinion was the same. I was acting under duress. Am I happy with that decision? I'm happy I'm still here. I'm happy I'm alive. But I'm not comfortable in my own body anymore because I am lopsided. I am an A cup on one side and a C cup on the other side. The chemo was hard. I wasn't a poster patient for chemotherapy, that's for sure. I bounced in and out of the hospital almost after every treatment. My immune system just crashed right through the floor, and I didn't handle it very well. But that's not going to be the case with everybody, because I know people who do it and they don't get sick at all. The radiation, when I went for my initial consultation in Kingston, I was so nervous and I was so scared. And there was an older gentleman in the waiting room while my mom and I were sitting there waiting to see the radiologist. And he looked at me and he said, "You look really scared." And I said, "I am really scared." And he said, "There's nothing to worry about. I've had every part of my body radiated other than my big toe. It doesn't hurt at all." And that alleviated a lot of my pain because I didn't know what to expect. I thought it would hurt, but it didn't. I had a mild sunburn when I was done, well, equivalent to a sunburn, I guess. But other than that, my treatments lasted less than 5 minutes. I went back to work in April, even though the doctors didn't want me to go back to work until this fall. And then I got laid off at the end of May. But I didn't let that get me down either after what I had gone through. So I just kind of stood up and decided I'm going back to school. So I'm now at Loyalist taking accounting, a 3-year course, because I got a second chance at life, so I'm going to make it the best that I can, starting with making a better career for myself and a better life for my kids. During this whole time, my family were my rock, especially my son and my daughter and my mom and my sister. I was told that within 2 weeks of my first chemo treatment, I would lose all my hair. It started actually a little bit earlier than the 2 weeks. My sister came over to my house on the Sunday, and she handed me this letter. I'm reading this letter that she had posted on Facebook. She had blocked me from her Facebook and had put her status up and sent messages to her friends along with mine that someone close to her had been diagnosed, was a single mom, and had no support for income because my maternity leave had ended and I had no other way to supplement my income. And she raised money to go directly to me in return for her shaving her head in support of me. It really surprised me when she did that, but it just made me feel so loved. And they continued to support me through the whole thing. And I'm not sure I would have gotten through what I did without my family.